Good morning, people. Today I wish to talk about internet scammers. Well, I call them that, but let's face it, most of them are idiots. You all right, Alex? Hang on. Say hello to the camera. Hello? What are you doing? I have a cat who, because I'm rather half 4, she wants feeding, but she's not getting fed for at least another hour. Otherwise, she'll be wanting biscuits. Far too early, bless her. She's 19. She's an old lady and she likes her food. Don't you, Alex? Anyway, tangent already. I often deal with these people. I find Instagram is worse than Facebook for them. Okay, some of them aren't scammers. Some of them are sex workers. I think that's the word you're supposed to use from what I hear these days. And, I might get cancelled for calling them something different. Not that it matters, my channel's quite small. My prime example comes from yesterday. Attractive young lady of African descent sends me a friend request on Instagram. I think it was Instagram and not Threads, because Threads is even worse. I'm like, oh, all right. Then starts messaging me. Asks me where I'm from. I say east of England, UK. He's like, I'm Danvers. Whereabouts? What town are you? And I'm like, Ipswich, Suffolk, UK. To which she replies, I'm 40 minutes drive away. And I Google, because I'm thinking, I've never heard of a place that's 40 minutes drive away called Danvers in the UK. Excuse me. There's a Danvers in Essex County in Massachusetts, USA. So I put it to her that she was getting confused and she in fact lives in the USA and I live in Ipswich in Suffolk County in the United Kingdom. This apparently blew her, no doubt, crack-addled brain, allegedly, to the extent that she could not comprehend the fact. I even went into the fact that I would suggest you Google it and you will find out that there are indeed at least 3 Ipswiches in the world. There is the oldest being the one I live in, which is Ipswich, Suffolk, United Kingdom. There is Ipswich, Massachusetts in Suffolk County, Massachusetts. And there is an Ipswich in Australia as well, I do believe. This blew her tiny mind. So, what? What do you mean? I mean, there's not 40 minutes drive in between us. There is an entire ocean. No, it's easy. No, you're not listening, are you? And then eventually she sends me an online menu, and I'm like, sorry, love. If I want to watch something online, I'll watch Pornhub. It's free. We know, boys, don't we? I've had others as well. One of the more recent highlights was a young lady who claimed to want to meet up with me. My partner knows I do this, but she knows it's all scams and, fakers, and she likes the fact that I play with them and expose them. Not in a physical way. I never even ask for, dodgy pictures or anything, because there's no point, because you won't get them anyway. Not unless, of course, you forward money. Yeah, another one. A young white English, apparently alternative girl who was posing herself to be some kind of Twitch streamer, possibly. Claimed to live in Brandon, which is up near Thetford in the UK. And I might be confusing her, merging her with someone else, but it's all the same shit anyway. And basically, I was playing it all above board. So when she said she wanted to meet, I said, well, we should meet in a cafe during the day in public for coffee or something. And she was okay with this. And then she asked to see my ID. I sent her a photograph of the front of my driving license, to which she replied, and the back. And I went, no. Back of my driving license doesn't show you anything that identifies who I am. That only means you possibly want to clone it. To which she replied, no, babe, I wouldn't do that. If we're going to meet, I'll need you to send me $20 for gas. I'm like, we're in the UK here, and you claim to live in the UK. We don't use dollars here. We use pounds. We don't call it gas. We call it petrol. Apparently she skipped over this. And kept trying to push. And I eventually turned around and decided I'm going to do some outrageous lying here. I then claimed that I work for a company called Scambusters 617, who expose fraudsters on the internet. This panicked her or him, could have been a him, so much that they offered to send me money. I should have taken them up on the offer, shouldn't I? Because if you just give them your bank account number and sort code, there's nothing they can really do with that. If they ask for anything else, don't do it. Then there was the one who at first claimed to live in the UK, but basically admitted to being in the USA, and said, can we talk on WhatsApp? Which I was fine with. And the WhatsApp message she sent me came from Nigeria, of all places. And I was like, your phone number is from Nigeria, don't you? And she was like, what do you mean? Well, I mean, you're in Nigeria, not the US. Dumb fucks, the lot of them. I tell you something. I know this isn't a nice thing to say, but I think anyone who gets scammed by people of such low intelligence fucking well deserves to get scammed. What is wrong with people? Oh, it's not only the internet, to be honest. And the last few days, I've just been amazed by people's behaviour in public. I mean, the other day, I was transporting some reasonably heavy goods on foot, and I've got a little portable fold-up trolley that's about the size of a coffee table that you can fit quite a large amount of stuff in. And I was wheeling this down the road in the busy Ipswich town centre, and twice I had to struggle to steer around idiots who had no reason not to give me space, because obviously pulling something like a shopping trolley, I'm far less manoeuvrable than they are. And it didn't happen, but I vowed that if it happened a third time, I would simply shoulder barge through the idiot who was doing it. People just don't think. This is one of the reasons I see very little hope for the human race, unfortunately. Well, most of them. Because if you're so dumb that you think, in my online examples, you can completely confuse the fact that someone lives in a different country to you when they're telling you blatantly, this is where I live, it is not in the US, or when someone is trying to convince you that they live in the UK and they use phrases like dollars and gas, or they see someone with a heavy load and decide, well, he'll have to get out of my way. Fuck off. The level of self-absorption and stupidity is unbelievable. And you know, by extension, this is why I shy away from social groups, social organisations especially, because you will find the same people there, and you will encounter the same stupidity. And I can't be dealing with that shit. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. As in the meme from the clip from Russell. What's his name? Bristol comedian. No. I was going to call him Brand, but we all know allegedly he's a bit controversial, and I don't mean that one, and I do not support him. Russell Howard. I should know, shouldn't I? Though. Oh, dearie me. Honestly. You know, I should have taken that young lady or bloke up on her offer, shouldn't I, of sending me money to stop from exposing her. Did I finish that story? Yeah, I claim to be from a company that basically exposed scammers online, and that's where she panicked and offered me money, and I declined. Really? Maybe I should form the company, Scambusters 617. Yeah. After a week where I haven't felt right, I think I'm beginning to get my old enthusiasm and confidence back, which is a good thing. It's taken a while, because I still feel that events lately have rather made me unconfident and untrusting in a lot of humanity. And I haven't reaffirmed my faith in humanity. I'm merely accept the fact that the majority of people, I would say 80 to 90%, are self-interested, ignorant pricks. That's why the world's in the state it's in, unfortunately. Sad, but oh well. Anyways, I fully intend to continue, even though I'm no longer in a reenactment group currently, continue training, doing videos on early medieval weaponry and history, until such a time I either find a group that works for me or form my own. This may be the way I'll have to go. Because the problem is, I mean, this is in my opinion, some opinions may differ. When I walk into a social group that's already, even in the slightest bit, established, and I see something rotten in it, I have this disturbing tendency to try and burn that structure down. When what I should do is simply leave it and walk away and let it collapse on its own accord, which I think is inevitable with a certain reenactment group I was part of. Or if it does manage to keep itself upright, it is not going to be the group the leader wanted it to be. Although unintentionally, I may have unified them and shaken things up enough so the leader does actually sort it out. It may happen, and if so, good luck to you. And I mean that genuinely. But I will not be a part of it. Events, yes, I'll say it, within the Raven Guard have led to me to have zero trust in the majority of members. And you cannot fight those you do not trust. You cannot train with those you do not trust. This probably works both ways. I'm sure there are several members of the group who no longer trust me. But a certain person who managed to escalate it to the extent that they managed to get me banned from a bar stroke tavern where I've been drinking for 20 years, because they basically run the place even though they don't own it. That was escalating it beyond where it needed to go. And that's me saying that, and I'm terrible for escalating things far beyond where they need to go. But, you know, plenty of other places I can go and drink where I'm accepted. Pardon me. When I've got any spare cash, which isn't very often, so, you know, it's not a matter of consequence. And if the owners, excuse me, of said establishment are willing to take the word of someone who's basically been working for them for probably about a year, over the word of someone who's been a loyal customer for 20 years, then I don't have much faith in that establishment either, to be quite honest. In fact, I've heard that there's quite a few of the old customers that are starting to drift away because of the way these people who have taken it over run it. That's just what I've heard from a few of the regulars who, like me, have been drinking there a long time. Yes, they're being replaced, but apparently from what I hear by like 18, 19-year-old kids who normally drink in casual student bars in the town centre, and that's not the kind of place I want to drink, to be quite honest. But if it makes money, then it's good for the business, I suppose. I'm not criticising these people in a business way. I'm criticising them in a loyalty, honour, and honesty way. There you go. I think this is the issue and why I will never be a very good businessman or politician. I deal very upfront and honestly with people. I tackle my enemies head on. I don't, consciously at least, manipulate other people into doing my dirty work. That's not how I choose to live. And those who attack me or interfere in my life, who do things in an underhanded, backstabbing way, I have nothing but loathing and contempt for. And I wish them ill. So beware. As the saying goes, you can mock me, block me, join me, but what you cannot do is stop me. I like that quote. People who get in my way for whatever reason tend to get trampled on. And unfortunately, sometimes some people end up as collateral damage, and I regret that. But I have to protect myself first and foremost and look after myself. Because I have my weaknesses and vulnerabilities, as does everyone. My impatience and impulsiveness are two of my worst. I mean, I try and adhere to the lessons that the writings of Sun Tzu teach, like wait long enough by the side of a river and the bodies of your enemies will go floating by. I understand the sentiment, but I do not have the patience. That's why I'm not a very good chess player. I do not have the patience to think that many moves ahead. And this is my weakness. It is a weakness. Pardon me. Just watching someone heading off somewhere via taxi. Quite an early start, I think. Right, well, I think that's all I've got to say today, for now. Right, thank you for listening, and enjoy doing whatever you're doing. Unless it's harming, ridiculing, or sabotaging another human being who's genuine, in which case, I hope you get what's coming to you. Bye.